This next story comes out of Alachua County, Florida. It's kind of near Gainesville and near a place called Jenny Springs. It happened in the summer of 2000, and it's also very close to where I found footprints in 2012 and where I became interested in looking into this whole Bigfoot thing and investigating. Now, since then, I did have some sightings, so that is why I do research now. But this gentleman's cousin, he said she's a very trustworthy and honest person, and he said that she told him about his encounter several times, and he said it was truly fascinating what she told him. She and her son were on the way to drop him off at school, and it was like around 7 a.m. on a clear morning, and she was driving her younger son to school to a nearby town. They were traveling down a narrow road near Paynes Prairie. If you don't know what Paynes Prairie is, you should look it up. It's really cool. You're going to see pictures in this video, and it's just outside of Gainesville. She said that the road was narrow, and on both sides it was very swampy and it looked messy. She was driving along, and all of a sudden, she said a hairy, upright creature walked right up out of the swamp on one side of the road and continued to walk in front of her car. And then she stopped immediately because she didn't want to hit it. She said she was only a few feet away from this creature, and it stared at her, and she stared at it in shock at what her and her son were seeing. The man-like creature had stopped in the middle of the road and was looking directly at them now. They were freaking out. They got a very good look of the entire body of it. It walked upright like a man with a gait and looked like a caveman, she said. It had hair all over except where its eyes, nose, and mouth of the face were. She said the most astonishing thing was it was wearing animal skin for protection or something. They were in shock, and she realized how smart this animal was to make its own skins to wear. She said it showed no aggressive behavior whatsoever, and after a few minutes it walked back into the swamp on the other side of the road. It looked half human and half ape. It was about 7 to 8 feet tall. She told her husband, and at first he didn't believe her, but now he does. This story is so incredible to me because this reminds me of the Dennis Martin story up in the Smoky Mountains, where something or someone snatched him, and another visitor of the park saw this huge, tall man-looking creature carrying him over his shoulder, and they said that he had animal skins on him. Now, I know up there in the Smokies I've heard of feral people. I don't know if they actually exist, but I've heard of them. So this to me is very fascinating because now I'm wondering, if maybe it isn't a feral person, maybe it is a Bigfoot up there that grabbed Dennis Martin. I always thought maybe so, but it's hard to tell. But this story reminds me very much of that. It also reminds me very much of my own story where I observed one walk out of the swamp and walk into the pine forest on the other side of the road in my rearview mirror, which led me to think they're very, very smart. I appreciate you all listening and watching my channel, and if you like what you're seeing and hearing, please subscribe. See you next time. These are wild horses out there and over there too. I don't know if you'll be able to see them, and over by that palm tree I think is some bison. That's a big one. Have you ever had a Bigfoot sighting? If you have and you don't want to let anybody know that it was you that saw him, or you're afraid to tell your story because you're afraid of you being made fun of, I'd be glad to tell your story for you. All you have to do is email me your story at bigfootadventures411@gmail.com. Let me know what you want me to say, what you don't want me to say, and I can put your story out there so other people can hear about it without you being identified.